Yo, 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 yo. Hey, this is the youth. Dadgummit. This is
You
Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo, and we here with the youth moral compass. Listen up. Today is a continuation of our last show that we had. And so, although you're seeing it this week, we recorded this all at once. So, that's how we do it sometimes. We got to break it up because we had so much information, man. We had so much to get through and so much to help you guys deal with kids at school and kids at home. And we're about to continue to give you guys the help and the assistance of how to learn how to help your students do better in life, because that's what we do.
Yeah, they said I should give it up, like that just ain't good enough. I wasn't tough enough to make it through the storm, so I tried to feed my fire, doing what I desired. I'll never give it up. I'm nothing like before.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. I am Jabbo, and today we got Drop on the production side behind the camera. But guess what? We might be missing the drop energy, but we got the youth moral compass energy. We got 5 brothers with me right now, and we're going to continue our conversation that we had last week, and we're going to get right into it. We're not going ain't no buffer. We about to hit it and hit it hard, and we're gonna give it to you so that you can learn and take this stuff home and use it. Cause that's what we do. We got professionals here, right? We got the masters and the PhDs and the people who've been on the street and been in the community doing what they do. And this question right here is going to be for our brother Cedric Moore, the Youth Moral Compass president, right? So if you the president, that means you got to come with the business. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring it, right? When you the president. That's your only job. President don't do no work. They just tell everybody what they supposed to do, right? And that's why we got picked the perfect person right here, cause he don't do no work. You know what I'm saying? He just tell us what to do. That's Cedric Moore. But here's the question, Mr. Moore. All right. Tell tell us how and why this Youth Moral Compass charity was started in the first place. And can you offer tips to parents and educators how they can help children at the same time?
well, Youth Moral Compass was started because this is one thing that we all could agree upon that was really important to all of us, and that's making sure that the youth have a future, a bright future, and those that are overlooked, the spotlight shine on them. They deserve a little light, and all kids deserve some, good or bad. As a young man, I didn't always do things the right way. I made a lot of
Yeah, we
mistakes.
all.
We all made a lot of mistakes, but I was able to learn from those mistakes and make sure that I didn't make them again. And that's what I try to do with young people. That's what we all try to do with young people, is try to make sure that they're going down the right path and that they don't make the mistakes that we made as young people. And if they do make mistakes, we try to get them back on the right path. We don't try to shun them. Oh, you're bad. They still have a bright future and they still have a chance. We've seen individuals that we grew up with that looked like they were going down the wrong path. They got their lives right and they're doing great right now as adults.
Appreciate that. Thank you for talking about it.
Yes, and so I think that's what brought us together, and that's why we're here today. And it happened at the right time. We got started right before COVID hit. Things didn't quite happen in the time frame that we wanted it to because of COVID, but now things are somewhat back to normal, and we are ready to get the work done and do some good for the state of Oklahoma and for those teachers and children out there that we feel need that help.
The tips.
The
Let's go with
tips,
the
the
tips. Give
tips.
us some tips of how we can how can you help children?
How can you help children?
Yeah.
It's all about communication. It's all about communication. I think we would all agree upon about that. As a parent, we have to understand that it's a two-way street. You know, communication is not always us giving kids what to do. We have to listen to them and be willing to really listen, not hear them, but really listen and try to help them figure out what is the right path for them.
Yeah.
Man, it's also, man, just being there for your kid, man.
Yes.
You know, being there in their sight, man. You know, some parents are not even there all the time with their kids. The kids just kind of like a football, basketball game. Kids don't even see their parents there half the time. Yeah. You know, I looked up in the stands when I was playing, man. I saw my mom and dad at every single game. You know, so like I say, man, just being there for the kids, supporting them, and helping them with their homework when they need homework. Even when your kids get home, man, ask them, do y'all got any homework?
Yes.
You know, half of them don't even ask the kids they got homework, and they come home and they gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, they ain't got their homework done. But then just, like I say, just being a parent, just being there, like I say, be by their side. They need help. You know, these are your kids. Yep. You know, the teachers don't raise your kids. You raise your own kid.
Yeah.
You are 100% correct, Lamont. One of the things that I try to do as an after-school instructor, every day I ask the kids, what is it that you learned and how was your day? And I just listen to them. I let them get it off their chest. And I let them know that, hey, you know what? You can have a bad moment, but you can't let bad moment turn into a minute, a day, or a week. Just let, you know, it's a bad moment, put it behind you, and let's start over fresh and learn from that mistake.
Mr. Harrison, I know you hot on this one. I know you ready to go. You ready to get it, bro. I'm about to, hold on though. Hold it up. Because there's a rumor going around here that we was talking about stuff earlier, and we was saying, because you guys are saying some stuff that is spectacular, like y'all are saying, like, I'm like, okay, I know y'all went to college, but they didn't teach y'all that in college. So where did y'all get this information from? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, okay, we talked about a little bit earlier. They was rumoring that having parents that might have not been so good as you guys are could have sparked something into you to give you this situation, you know, this. Now we're gonna stay on the subject, Mr. Harrison, but there's a rumor going around that
I heard
parents
don't understand.
that's and then they end up slapping people. But yeah, you did. You took a minute. Okay.
Your name.
Yeah. But okay, with that as the backdrop, Mr. Harrison.
Yeah.
All right.
Please just call me.
Because these are definitely some great parents, and they said just communication and just showing up. But where did they get their info? You know, how did they learn this? You know, and I know you can go do your thing and talk about how you feel that we can, you know what I'm saying, communicate with the kids. But
just
go ahead.
to piggyback off of what Cedric said about, and Lamont as well, parents, be clear that you matter in your kid's life.
Yes.
Parents, do us a favor, and it'll pivot to what we talked about earlier. Parents, do us a favor. Quit trying to live through your kids.
Yes.
Oh, that's it.
Stop doing that.
Say that for the people in the back.
Yeah, y'all in the cheap seats. Quit living through your kids and stop punishing your kids for what you were not able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because you limit them at that point.
Yes.
You know, and I'm a driver. I'm hard. I'm so hard on my daughter, and she's good and grown, right? But you believe and you push, you want them to go. I'm rough on my son because you believe in him and you want him to go. But to your point, I grew up in a loving household, but it wasn't a normal family structure, right? That didn't happen for me. Cedric and I always joke, and my wife says it all the time. She's like, you act like you just raised yourself. And in some respects, we did. Okay? But I knew my dad said something about other people, which is so funny. He'll point at somebody and say, that's a perfect example of what not to be. Well, I take that statement and look at any void that was in my life. It wasn't necessarily the love wasn't there. Because all of you guys knew my grandmother. She was the greatest loving person you could ever meet.
Yes.
Okay.
We
The
miss
lo-
you, Granny.
Yeah,
We
right.
Hey, matter of fact, we about to take 1 second for Granny, right? Y'all don't know Granny, but we gonna take 1 second and we gonna honor the ancestor. What is ancestor? What's her?
Hazel Bratton.
Hazel Bradley.
Bratton.
Hazel Bratton. Thank you, Hazel
Yes.
Bratton. Hey, we honor you, sister.
Yes.
And so she loved me. But there was no way she could teach me how to be a man. Outside of a woman did teach me how to tie a tie. That was mine. But there was no way she could raise a man. So it took the likes of, and parents, pay close attention to who your kids are around. I owe Verl Franklin a debt of gratitude. Right? Cal Cudjoe, Don Willis, Ronaldo Lennon Sr.,
Your coaches,
my coaches.
sports. Okay.
But before you say coaches, they were just strong, steady black men.
Absolutely.
All of the men in the church that I grew up, all of the men who were just my neighbor, Mr. Don Corkali, that he was just a man's man.
Yes.
Right? And so when you look at not having a traditional family structure, do not use that as an excuse to not be successful.
It's that village.
Yes.
It's the village.
It is.
I want to say I learned a lot from you all, and I also learned a lot from your families. I think, all of your fathers, even though our fathers wasn't there all the time, when they
Right.
were there.
We pieced it together.
They
huh?
pieced it together, and they dropped jewels on us. They dropped jewels on us. I mean, Mr. Marshall, the time we was talking about who going to get somewhere first, and he was like, I'm not going to speed. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to get there safely. Now, I don't speed. I don't get tickets, and I get to where I need to go. yeah. Knock on wood.
I missed that ride.
Yeah,
I should have
yeah.
been in the car with y'all.
Yes, yes. Hey, we got there all at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's jewels like that they dropped on us that we took and we cherished. And and sometimes it would have been greater if they would have been there every day dropping jewels on us. And that's what I try to do for my boys. But when they are around you all, you drop jewels on them, you encourage them, and you're a big part of the reason of why they are successful today.
Right. Mr. Davis, I want you
I gotta get in here.
Oh.
I gotta get in here, man.
Go ahead and drop.
What you gonna do?
Y'all got it going. Y'all got the show going nice too. But I'm gonna come back, because I was that kid that had to rely on some of y'all parents to make it. You feel me? Because everybody know my mama wasn't there. She wasn't there. My daddy was there, but he wasn't there. Yeah, he come to the game. He come to certain events, but he didn't come to none of the assemblies when I got awards. See, if you're gonna be a parent, you gotta be a parent all the way.
Sure was.
Not just at games. Not just when you getting about to sign the letter of intent. You feel me? I'll never forget. People was like, "That's your mama?" First time they ever seen her. Been in Millwood 14 years. And I'm like, come on, man. And Buddy know what I'm talking about. Because he experienced a lot of lifestyle like I did. Because, and you can tell even Buddy said, I'm going to do it different. I'm gonna be here for my kids no matter what's going on. And that's the whole point. I think parents, they forget your kid ain't just an athlete. Your kid is a student too.
Student athlete first.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this. I want to jump in on
Go ahead.
something that we kind of touched on and maybe didn't blow it up, but I want to magnify this. It's not always about quantity, but it's about quality.
Yeah.
The quality time. Because I'm a parent that I can't do everything with my son. But at the moments I have time, I make the most of it. And same like what said, I want my son to be around people that will invest in him when I can't. Maybe there's something that I don't know what to say. I will quickly turn to, hey, Sid, what's going on about this and that? Because again, I want him exposed to, the right people that can say what needs to be said, that can be, do what needs to be done. And so, like I said, quality time as much as quantity. Because like you said, your father might have been there for events, but was he there for the right events? Quantity, for the games. But what about when there's no game and you get that award? Can you show your face? Because this means as much to me as scoring the touchdown. That's what I do with my son. I like to get his plaques and his awards and post them. We have social media, so I like to post his awards as much as I like to post his accomplishments that are easily seen by everybody, the touchdown, the tackle, or whatever.
But I would say this, just as we talk about the purpose of the Youth War Conference, why did we start, come together and say this is what we agreed on? Because it might take one of us to effectively speak to a student, male, female, to say, hey, we're here for you. It's okay.
Quality.
Yeah. But the thing that is interesting, and I think it's kind of some of our talking points that we've kind of looked at, you would be amazed what a teacher would think if they saw parents.
Yes.
They would be blown away.
Man, some of the teachers don't even know the parents.
It ain't some. It's the majority.
They don't.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If Miss Williams comes in, but her son's name is Jackson, and we've never seen you before, what do you think the level of confusion is going to be? Watch this on a teacher's face who is not a part of the community in which they're serving.
Oh yeah, it can be very confusing.
It's a bunch of barriers there.
Yeah.
So parents have to show up. My wife worked in corporate America, and with us having our own business as well, had a great deal of freedom. But there was a period in time where there were a couple of teachers that we dealt with regarding dues, who I had to reiterate that we were married, and this is his mother. Because it wasn't that she had never showed up. They just couldn't put two and two together because historically, the stats don't lie, historically, me and Christy aren't supposed to be married.
Yeah.
I'm just supposed to be Deuce's dad.
But as a teacher, you have to be willing to accept whoever the guardian is,
Very good.
and welcome them with open arms. In my 13 years, I would say the first 7, I dealt with grandparents.
Yeah.
It was grandparents that was raising students,
Wow.
or their children. And then the years after that, I had parents that were younger than me raising kids, and I saw that change, that shift in where I had grandparents calling me and asking me, and at the time I'm 22, fresh out of college. How long should they study this? How much time should I let them play outside? Mr. Moore, do you need anything? Do you need this? Do you need that? To where then I had younger parents that questioned me as a man, like, what are you doing here teaching elementary school? Men don't teach elementary
That's right.
school. Something wrong with you? Are you straight?
Exactly.
And so, I had to deal with them accordingly and just try to build a rapport with them. And things are quite different now because, you might get a couple, and it's not the traditional couple.
Right.
And sometimes I have to listen to the student and kind of cipher what they're saying when they talk about their dad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then when I meet dad is not what I traditionally would call a dad, but I still have to respect that parent for who they are in that student's life.
Right. So being in the educational arena industry and dealing with kids, dealing with teachers, and also dealing with the community, the one thing that I'm getting out of this all is that we have to show up. You know what I'm saying? First of all, as parents, show up, and as teachers, you might want to you
know
might
that
want to
your
take
student might have a different last
right.
name
Well,
than the
take a
parent.
no. Well, take a step back from what you might think and feel from what
Exactly.
you see, and actually find out what's going on. Don't assume anything.
And-
All right.
Yes,
And
and,
so
and don't always be only want to communicate with that parent or that guardian when the child is doing something wrong.
okay.
You know, parents want to hear about their kids when they're doing good too. They want to hear about you bragging on their kids. Oh, they learned this, or are they doing that? They don't always come when it's something negative. Parents, they have to deal with their kids at home. And a lot of times,
So let's talk about teachers. Let's talk about teachers, coach. Let's talk about men and women who are in the position, authority position, who are trying to educate, to educate the youth. You know what I'm saying? And so let's talk about how we motivate. How can we motivate and keep those people who are teaching, coaching, mentoring, or whatever? And I want Mr. Davis, buddy, I want you to chime in first. Then we're gonna come in with you, and we're gonna give Buddy a chance to tell us because Buddy is dealing with a lot of different groups and a lot of different leaders. So when you're a leader and you're dealing with leaders, so those are you have to motivate those people so they can motivate the children. Right, so that's why I want to get that perspective from a leader position. How do you motivate the leaders and keep them happy with everything we just heard here today? If you can tie it all together.
I want to talk off a little bit off subject because I want to go back to one of my early childhood teachers. Well, not early childhood. He was a coach. He was a dad. He was a motivator. He did a lot. He cared about us. He cared about us. He cared about everybody behind us, and it wasn't about money. It was his investment. He was a school teacher. It couldn't have been about money. It's something that he cared about. It's something that he wanted to do. When you go into teaching, you're not gonna possibly make a lot of money. So you got to invest the time and care and truly care about what it is that you're doing. If you take it from my perspective, I don't get paid for anything that I do. You love it. Yeah, I love what I do. I love helping these young ladies out. I love helping the parents out. I love helping the parents understand the process. And again, that guy did that for us. He cared, and it wasn't about the paycheck. But at some point, you do got to live, but you got to really invest your time, and it has to be something that you really want to do. And again, that's how you motivate leaders. I didn't answer that, but that's a answer for that question.
So you have to model what you believe in.
Correct.
I got something for that too, because I live all the way in Seminole, and some of the parents put a Facebook post out, and they was like, "Man, this is the greatest softball coach I ever had." You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the picture on her Facebook post. It's Buddy. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, he coached her? It's the same girl I coached in 6th grade, when she was in the 6th grade. And so her mom, she was like, "Mr. Marshall, And I said, "Yeah, that's my best friend. That's one of my best friends." "That's one of them guys you be talking about?" And I said, "Yes, that's him." And that's what you got. Buddy, like you said, he don't do it for money. But hey, people see it.
That's so interesting.
But I want to go back to answering that question, because that leader motivated us to be leaders. That coach, that teacher motivated us. and we're all sitting doing the same thing that he does, and whatever it is that we're doing. Cedric in the education department, Chris in the education department. I mean, we're all doing it in our field of endeavors, but it's just I don't know. I really, really, truly respect that man. Can I mention his name?
Yeah.
That's Verl Franklin.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other ones that you can add to that list, but he was truly a father figure, leader for me.
Great communicator.
Yeah.
He got his point across.
You might not have liked it or not, but he got it across.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things I want to kind of mention that Cedric talked about, and he mentioned how sometimes as kids, one of the things that made me volunteer, one of the things that made me get involved immediately with my son is he would get stars or good marks in school. Well, I'm not there to see that. Mm-hmm. So I got involved in sports so that just as he got the star, I can give him a high five and say, hey, I like what you did here. Because in the classroom, he gets good marks, but I don't know it till later.
Yeah.
And I don't get to praise him till later. Mm-hmm. Well, in sports, you kind of get that almost immediate. Mm-hmm. Again, that's why I come up with the quality time versus quantity. The times that matter, because like I said, man, I'm glad he got this mark, but I can't say anything about it because it's too late or the time has passed. But in sports and in volunteering and getting involved, involved, knowing what's going on with him. And I learned his personality. I learned how he learns. Why? Because now I can go to a parent-teacher conference and have a conversation with the teacher and know how my son learns. Yes. How he is motivated, how he can, like you said, communication. Yeah. Let's communicate this way versus this way, because this is what I know about him. Mm-hmm. How do I know it? Because I've seen it. Yeah. Not just as a parent.
Because this is on that subject, but I want to hit a little twist. This is for Swindle. Because this is it. I want people to know this because I witnessed it myself. How in the world was you able to be a dad to two girls who didn't live with you? Because I seen you do everything that a daddy do still. And one lived all the way out the state, and the other one, was in a different household. You a little bit different than us. Because but you still was daddy.
Well, I put it like this. Those kids were mine. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I'm going to be their dad. I'm going to be there with them, thick and thin, whatever. I'm going out of state to Arkansas to see my girl. I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to take her back home. And also, my daughter is here that was in Oklahoma. I'm at every game, every sport, whatever. Teacher conference, I'm there. Mm-hmm. There's not going to be a teacher that's not going to say, who's your daddy? Right. They're going to know who their daddy is. So me personally, I've always said, hey, I'm going to be there for my kids regardless of whatever they do. Sports, academics, I'm there.
I wanted to bring that up, Swin, because sometimes you can be a different parent and think just because they don't live with you, you can't do certain things as a parent. Right. And you really can't.
You can always do something for your kids regardless. Even if you're having issues with the mother and they don't tell you much or nothing, don't want to deal with you, whatever, but you can always bypass all that and be there for your kid. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is ask them, where's my kid? What's going on with my kid at school? They got anything going on? I'm going to be there. Parent-teacher conference, I'm there. So, you just gotta man up, basically.
You gotta care.
You gotta care, and you gotta man up and take care of your kids. That's it.
Jabbo asked a good question. It's funny that we went into parenting, but we started out talking about teachers, but it immediately pivoted right back to parenting. One of the pieces for parenting to me is when Lamont said, so I have a child with a learning difference. So if you are not advocating for your child personally, they will get washed through the system. Not because the teachers don't care. The teachers have to care for all 33 of those pupils in their class. Yes. But if I'm advocating here that says my son needs a little extra time with geometry, you will be amazed how everybody else will get in lockstep to see that kid succeed. Oklahoma City has a thing that bothers me to death when every school is considered an F. That's horrible to me. But the thought process is this, for our teachers. Number one, quit using that vernacular. This is not a failing school. No. Number one. Number two, when we're talking to our teachers, yes, Ed said it earlier, they say they need money, and they need money, and they need money. That's true. Trust me. The budget is horrible.
It is what it is.
Over 57% of what Oklahoma spends. But the money that I think okay, so here's a teacher and you want to congratulate them and thank them. Mm-hmm. And Youth Moral Compass may be the ones to say, and we're going to give you a grant for whatever you need in your classroom. Because I serve on a couple of boards at helping schools. One of the things that drives me nuts is when they come there and try to tell them what they need. No, ask what they need. Yeah. And then you feel the void that you can feel. Right. So yeah, it is money, but it's more my superpower, bringing resources. Right. Okay? Right. So, but parents advocating effectively for their kids will change the mentality of a teacher. But this is what said that's crazy. You'd be amazed, Mr. Swindle, when you walk in the classroom and Brazier Kiera's best friend says, "Man, they're gonna Brazier Kiera's dad." It'll shift because then they start trusting you. Mm-hmm. Cedric knows, man, when it comes to Lee V. Moore, that's my guy. Mr. Moore gave us a lot of knowledge. Right. In those quality moments, riding in the car from point A to point B. Right. Okay? Mm-hmm. But we knew that these parents knew how to go and advocate on our behalf at the school. Like I said, we didn't all have traditional setups. But if you got a Verl Franklin who will go over and ask a grader Eves in English, how's what they're doing?
Or
that
matters in his own hands.
But ain't doing right. We in the hallway before practice.
Right. Okay,
right.
So
go ahead.
So okay, like you said, I like the way you explained how we transitioned and how we took the question at hand and kind of brought it from teachers back to parents, and teachers are parents and parents are teachers.
Exactly.
And man, the strong male masculine influence on young men is getting blown up right now, right? You know what I'm saying? That is being the theme throughout what I've been hearing, is that the way that we are able to view and have a perspective and have the heart and the energy to help other youth is because that energy came from other strong men in our lives.
That's right.
As well as when we were able to see maybe not so strong, like we said, they maybe didn't show up all the time. They maybe not been a wise Yoda all the time. You know what I'm saying? In our lives, but we also took the positive and we took the negative, and it's the duality of life that molds and shapes a person into the person that they're going to be, you know. And so, man, I'm listening that you guys give us such wonderful insight on these subjects. And so I just wanted to share my subject. I wanted to say, you know, one of the highlights of my life and dealing with children, my own child. My son, my oldest son is about 20, about to be 28. Mm-hmm. All right. But the one thing that he told me years ago, man, he said he appreciated me, right? He appreciated who I was and the structure that I provided for him in the home. Mm-hmm. He said when he was in the home, here we go with the morality thing and the long game. When he was in the house with me, he didn't like it so much. He was taken care of, and he had what he needed, but I made him, before he could go out and hang with his friends, he had to make sure the dishes had to be done, the floor had to be swept, and I wouldn't say nothing to him. I'd wait till the friends come in, knock on the door, and he about to walk out the door. I said, hey, is the kitchen clean? Yeah. No, I didn't know. Okay, well, before you go, you can go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, get them chores done.
Hey, well, you can do what you want to do, but I need the kitchen clean first. And what was so sad about it, side note, he would say, hey, y'all want to help me? His friends be like, no, I'm chilling on the couch. and you know what happened was, while he's cleaning up in the kitchen and the friends is on the couch, I'm in the living room with the friends, building a relationship with the friends.
That's right.
And those friends of my son have now become my sons.
I understand.
These guys call me Pops. And it all came from that positive, you know what, forget positive and negative. You know what I'm saying? It was a man who was just being a man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's forget all of the labels. It was a man being a man, and I was interacting with him, and his energy inculcated whatever happened inside of me. It happened, and it just came out. You know what I'm saying? That's just the cycle of life, the duality of life. So that was having my son telling me he appreciated me, and he appreciated me because those friends that was sitting there, they didn't have daddies.
Right.
He was the only one of his friends that really had a daddy in their life. And I wasn't the best. I didn't get to show up to everything, and I didn't get to go to the school and do the teacher stuff. Cause see, now I'm talking to those gentlemen who maybe you ain't involved that much in the school, right? Maybe you're not involved that much in the sports, but at home you taking care of business. All right, and you're providing structure for your kid. So we're hitting a whole 360 here. And before we go, I just want to be open and say, gentlemen, if you have anything that you wanted to say, let's get ready to close out, and we're gonna get ready to close out, and we'll continue this, and we'll get you guys' answers and questions and all that stuff on the next show. All right, so we leaving you in suspense because we want to see you come back, and we're going to let these gentlemen just kind of pour their heart out a little bit. We may ask a few other questions. All right, so thank you for listening. All right, the Youth Moral Compass organization thanks you for tuning in. This is Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. We need you to support us as we support our community. Simply download these podcast episodes, all right? That's simple. A couple of clicks. Help us out and download. We are sponsored by Motivational Drop. We are sponsored by Black Soil Urban Farm. And if you would like to see more of this, like I said, help us out. Reach out. If you got ideas about things we could talk about, reach out. Email us. Visit our online Facebook and our Facebook page. Let's Talk with Drop and Jabbo. And with that, hey, I just want to say I appreciate you guys. We love you. We coming back, so don't miss it. That is it for this episode. Hey, we hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you did, please do us a favor and hit the like button and share with somebody else. And if you want notifications when our episodes or monthly live podcasts publish, then you gotta go to the website, subscribe, and subscribe. Do that now so that nothing gets missed by accident. Thanks again and for supporting us.
I'm as tough as you made me, but you never break me. No, you never break me. They said I should give it up like that just ain't good